Without a doubt, 2023 was a year full of stunning moments in gaming. From beautiful environments to shocking plot developments and countless things in between, I often wanted to ask these
Why
developers,
are you making us feel these things?
it would be nearly impossible to sort out a true ranking of every such moment I experienced, but I still want to showcase some of my favorite moments from this past year. Some of these will contain spoilers of varying levels, so check here on the screen or in the show notes to see which games I'll be discussing. Without further ado, I present to you the moments that made 2023. I distinctly remember when Metroid Prime Remastered was announced during the Nintendo Direct because I missed the moment they announced it during the Nintendo Direct. I had just come home and was greeting my family, so I had set my phone down for a minute. By the time I looked at it again, I had frantic texts from two people freaking out that the remaster was actually happening and being shadow dropped that same evening. Seeing one of my all-time favorite games with new life breathed into it was nothing short of incredible. They somehow put a fresh coat of paint on a 21-year-old game and still made me stare slack-jawed at the end result. Guerrilla Games can never catch a break. Zero Dawn launched around the same time as Breath of the Wild, the base game for Forbidden West got caught up in Elden Ring's orbit, and even Burning Shore set to contend with Jedi Survivor and Tears of the Kingdom both releasing within the same 4-week span. Despite this string of bad luck, or probably an ancient curse, I don't know, I adore the series. And Burning Shores was a fantastic continuation of the main story for Forbidden West. What truly took the cake, and what makes this particular list, is the fight against the Horus machine that was teased in the teaser. Seeing something that size move about in real time alongside Aloy is probably the most stunning technical achievement I've witnessed in all my years of gaming. On top of that, the expansion also allowed you to take your Sunwing up into the clouds. Doing so during a sunset had me staring at the screen in stunned silence as I just let the colors and the ambient music wash over me. Yeah, so anyway, forget about that Horizon thing so we can talk about some more Zelda. I could take any of a couple dozen moments from this game to gush about during this video, but I'll instead focus on a moment that happened on the night after the release. I came out of a shrine and saw the lightning dragon Farosh flying about. But then she started diving into a chasm. Obviously, I followed her, and I was trying to avoid colliding with her body and being electrocuted because I remembered that exact situation happening in Breath of the Wild. But then I did bump into her, with no electrocution. I tested this again with the same result. And so I landed on her back, and I made my way up to her horn. I stayed there as she flew through an entire section of the unlit depths, with her body and her lightning often being the only source of light I could see. I could not believe what I was seeing, or what I had just done. For this video, I had to recreate the scene in order to capture the footage, but even so, it was still breathtaking. As with Tears of the Kingdom, there are a lot of stand-up moments of Final Fantasy XVI. Despite the kaiju battles and political intrigue, one of the moments that sticks with me the most is Clive on the broken bridge. As I talked about in a previous video, this moment resonates with me on a deeply personal level in relation to my own mental health journey. However, it also serves to keep the protagonist, and therefore our journey with him, emotionally grounded. Showing us the brutal depths of Clive's despair informs the path he takes for the remainder of the game, as well as the bonds he forges with those around him. While I'm sure it would still have been enjoyable, I doubt the overall narrative would have been nearly as effective without showing us this side of Clive and the trajectory he takes as a character. Sea of Stars surprised me in the opening hour with how much it made me care for its characters. After a brief present-day introduction, we are thrust back about 10 years to when Valere, Zale, and Garl were kids. After finding themselves in over their heads and surrounded by monsters, Garl throws himself in front of a monster's attack to protect your selected player character, and loses an eye because of it. While it's not gory in the slightest, it was still a shocking moment. Fast forward a dozen or 2 hours, and Sabotage decided to kick my heart in the throat by having Garl take another hit for his friends, one that would result in his death. In order to secure the party's passage across the Sea of Stars,
Hey, that's the name of the show.
Garl devises a plan to soothe a long-tormented soul, the powerful beast dubbed the Sleeper. Once it became clear that Garl truly was only on borrowed time, it was hard to play through the series of events that ended his death. He's such an incredible character, and I dreaded watching it all play out. After a touching sequence showcasing how his friends mourn his passing, the party steals their resolve and returns to the objective at hand, crossing the Sea of Stars. The sequence is incredible, enhanced by the music and unexpected visual twist of morphing from 2D to 3D and back again. To top it all off, I couldn't help but think, this is what Garl fought for, and he would have loved to see it for himself. I could talk about the opening sequence of Spider-Man 2 as our Arachno boys face off against Sandman, but I'm sure it's been talked to death already. Instead, I want to focus on a 1-2 punch showcasing Peter's corruption from the symbiote. I apologize in advance for the unrelated B-roll, but anyway, as seen in promos, there is a pretty big fight between the symbiote Peter and the lizard. Once the fight is over and Dr. Connors returns to his less scaly form, they have a discussion about the origins of the symbiote, which up till now had just been referred to as an exosuit. Dr. Connors tells Peter he has to destroy it, to which he responds, "Destroy us?" It isn't exactly subtle, but it is awesome, and Yuri Lowenthal's delivery is top-notch. Shortly thereafter, the next story mission kicks off with a sleepy symbiote Pete sleep-mauling a bunch of Kraven's goons while the player controls MJ and eventually Miles. Things come to a head when MJ is trapped in a tunnel with Pete. She tries to get through to him, but the symbiote takes over. What happens next is essentially a mini horror game where MJ desperately tries to outrun and outthink the bloodthirsty alien currently wrapped around her boyfriend. From the moment I saw the reveal trailer for Planet of Lana, I knew it would be up my alley. It wasn't until getting my gaming laptop that I truly dove headfirst into it, though. It's full of beautiful visuals and a lovely soundtrack, but one moment in particular had me awestruck. Starry night giving way to a sunrise set to the original song, Horizons. It all perfectly encapsulates the emotions in the story. Desperately trying to find and rescue your loved ones from the invading robo-army, while also being unable to deny the beauty in the world around you as you continue your journey. This is reflected in your little companion Mui, as well as your discovery of ancient writings and artifacts along the way. Hi-Fi Rush is another game I didn't give my undivided attention to until after getting my laptop. I always enjoyed everything about the game, with the caveat that I'm not exactly great at rhythm games. However, being able to focus solely on it for a few days as I bulldozed my way through the back half was delightful. This was never more true than the penultimate mission, the needle drop. It starts off with something that should be completely hokey. The hero believing in himself because of the power of friendship and whatnot. But it puts the game's signature humor and heart behind it to great effect. If that was the end of it, it would still be worth talking about here. But it continued. Chive and company make a slow-motion hero's entrance through smoke and dust as set to Worrying by the Joy Formidable, and the stupid grin on my face would have put the Joker to shame. I'd never even heard that song before playing the game, but it fits so well. On top of that, the themes of camaraderie continue by having Peppermint, Macaroon, Cinnamon, and Corsica all assist you in the environment without needing them to be summoned first. It's an incredible payoff at the tail end of the story, and ends with some hilariously bad puns coupled with more visual style. These are just a handful of the moments in gaming this year that hit me in my nerdy little feelings. Every single game I've played through this year could have been in here, which is yet another testament to how excellent this year was. Whether the moments filled me with awe, laughter, tension, or heartbreak, I never cease to be amazed at what experiences can be had from behind the controller. What were some of your favorite moments from this year? Let me know in the comments. And as always, play what you love and love what you play.